Hey everyone, this is Mr. S, and today we're going over lesson 4. Is a changing buffalo size caused by a changing predator population size? And so our objective, our goal for the day is to analyze trends and data over time to determine if there's a cause and effect relationship between predators and prey in the case of the buffaloes in the Serengeti. If you remember last class, we explored whether rainfall caused the buffalo population to increase, and we found out that it didn't. And we introduced the important idea of carrying capacity, which we'll continue to explore. Now, before we get too much further, I want you to take notes on the important vocabulary. So any of these words that you're not extremely familiar with, please write them down in your notes, and then we'll go through them. So biomass, here we're talking about the total mass of organisms in a given area or volume. Organic matter used as fuel, especially in a power station for the generation of electricity. So we're thinking of this first one. You can write just this first part down. The total mass of organisms in a given area. And in this case, we're thinking about plants usually, because that's what a lot of the biomass in an ecosystem is, plants. Producers are any kind of green plant. Green plants make their food by taking in sunlight and using the energy to make sugar. The plant uses this sugar, also called, or glucose, to make many things like wood, leaves, roots, and barks, which we'll be learning about a lot more in the next unit. And then we have herbivores. That's just an animal that lives on plants alone. They don't eat meat. A carnivore, an animal that eats only meat. A predator, that's an animal that's hunting. And a prey, the animal that's getting hunted. Okay, so pause the video and make sure you jot those down and have a good grasp of those vocabulary words. And then if you remember last class, what stood out to you about last time? And it would be good to go through your student activity sheet from last time to review. Have we yet determined why there was a sharp increase in the buffalo population from 1960 to 1975? Have we figured it out yet? So now, as you go, think back, and this is number 1 on your student activity sheet for today. And so recall the graph showing the population size of the African buffalo from 1960 to 1975. There is an increase in the African buffalo population from 1960 to 1975. Have we determined what caused this population to increase yet? If not, what conjectures or ideas have we eliminated that did not cause the increase in population? So if you remember, we started this whole unit out with this graph, and we had the buffalo population, and it was going up between 1960 to 1975. And we've been exploring a few reasons why. We looked at climate. We looked at their food. And now we're thinking about predators today. But this is kind of review, so kind of review your notes and go ahead and write them down there. All right, so first we got to find out what predators there are in the Serengeti. And so what resources can we use to find out which animals are predators of the African buffalo? Take a second and jot what you think. How could we possibly figure that out? So basically what happened was scientists put up high-frequency camera traps all over the park. Okay, so basically these were the park here. You have that area is where the park is, and these are all of the camera traps. It's a lot, actually. This is kind of what they look like here. So they're these little cameras, and anytime an animal walks by, it will trigger that camera, and they'll get in and they'll see the picture of that animal. So basically, what happened then was all of these cameras went into a big database And citizen scientists, so people like me and you, then looked at these pictures and then ID'd what kind of animal based on color, shape. So even if you weren't a advanced scientist, you could figure it out by these kinds of determining factors, even if it's just their butt, like what we're seeing here, okay? So it's pretty cool. There's thousands of people that help to identify all of these animals. And you saw a lot of images like this, where you wouldn't know exactly what it was. So now in your student activity sheet, you have a list of the animals that were captured and how many. And so we need to break into a group, into small groups, and you'll break up how many animals you research and figure out how many of these were predators that regularly hunt the buffalo. Okay, so pause the video, divide these up between your group, and then we'll look at which one of these are actual predators. So something like if you know some of these animals, let's see, you might be able to knock some of them off just by looking at it, like an impala, if you know what that is. That's probably not hunting the buffalo. So you can, or a porcupine, okay? So you can go through these and try to figure out which animals are hunting them. And then, now that you've determined which predators that we need to study, what do you predict is happening in the lion population between 1960 and 1975? How many lions do you think there are in 1960 and 1975? And why do you think the population is the size you predicted? So remember, if we have the buffalo, remember they went up like that, or a little bit more gradually. And so do you think that the lions are going to be, they went down so that the buffaloes went up? Or they went up and that's somehow what caused the buffaloes to go up? What do you think happened to the buffalo, or to the lions, that could have influenced this? Maybe you don't think it's influencing it at all. Okay. And then you'll go on to investigation 2. So you're going to read this investigation 2 with your classmates if you'd like. And after reading it, would you change your prediction? Would this change what you were thinking? And you'll answer a few of these questions. What factors need to be considered to make your prediction? Using the information from the reading, create a biomass diagram using lions, buffaloes, grasses, and what do you think that would look like based on what you know about the 10% rule? Okay, so to put it differently, the 10% rule says that 10% of the energy in the ecosystem moves up the food chain. Only 10%. So that means most of the energy that exists is lost as it moves up the food chain, okay? So that means if you have this much energy, 1 million joules of sunlight, only 10% of that, or 10,000, if we multiplied this by 0.1, makes it to the plants, okay? Because a lot of it gets lost as heat. It doesn't enter the plant with 100% efficiency. And then 10% of that goes into the primary consumers, or the insects. Most of it is lost to heat and waste, again and again. So what does this make you think about as you try to answer the last questions in this video? What does that make you think if so much of the energy is lost, so that from the original energy of the primary producer, only 10 out of a million from the sunlight makes it to the predator, so in this case the lion. Okay? So in your notes you're going to draw a pyramid describing this, where you'll have plants, you'll have primary consumers like bugs, then you'll have, lizards. So those are each of the food system, but we're thinking of, you just need to include the lions, the buffaloes, and the grasses. So you'll draw that and describe what's happening with 10% on each pyramid. And you can do a little bit more research as you go up. Then make a prediction about what is happening with the lions. If they were the driving factor of the buffalo population size changing, what would the lion population need to look like? The African buffalo population is already depicted below, but feel free to draw your prediction on the same. So just draw the line of lions and what it would look like. And finally, I'm going to have you answer 8 on this video. This is your exit ticket to show your understanding of the video. And then you can think about questions and next steps. Okay, hopefully it's clear as day. Ask classmates for help if you need it. Ask 3 and then come to ask me. Good luck. See you soon.